Hey, Brendan here. Welcome to the channel, and thanks for tuning in. Week 2 of college football is in the books, and I'm going to be joined again by Jason DiRienzo, my podcast co-host, for our second episode of our devy stock report. We're going to talk about 4 college players that are rising in value and 4 players that may not be living up to expectations. We're going to do this show each and every week, so hit that subscribe button, help me grow the channel. If you're not familiar with devy and that term, it's basically an extension of Dynasty fantasy football where we are drafting college players, putting them on our taxi squads, and just waiting for them to get drafted in the future. So in these shows, we're going to talk about 2026 prospects, 2027, 2028 as well. Now, if you check out the link there below, I have my ranks already for 2026 rookies, 2027, and 2028, all broken down by position. So if you play Dynasty Fantasy Football, it is a fantastic resource to get an early look at future draft classes, players that you're going to be drafting in your future rookie drafts. We do all sorts of film scouting, all 22 film cutups. It is a fantastic resource. Okay, let's not waste any more time. Enjoy the show. Jason, let's talk about our devy stock report players. These are the players that we've been talking about that mentioned some of these names in the past, but we're excited keeping track of these players. First guy I want to talk about is Isaiah Hunter. Now, I think he was a deep dive sleeper player for us, either me or you, when he was a Cal last year. I think he popped.
It was you.
Now,
yeah.
I think it was, yeah. And he is now in Nebraska. And I just cut up his game versus Cincinnati. And, you know, he's 6'1", 205 pounds. And he had a really good game against Cincinnati. And against Akron, he also had a really decent game. So I cut up his game versus Cincinnati. He plays primarily outside. But Raiola is looking for him and Dane Key down there in Nebraska or across there in Nebraska. And I really like what I see. This guy's a prototypical kind of X receiver. He plays outside primarily, not in the slot, but really a route runner. I like his crispness and his routes. His boundary awareness, his hands. He made a really nice grab in the end zone in that game versus Cincinnati, showing you the ball skills and the concentration and the mitts and everything. I came away really impressed. In fact, I put a waiver claim in for him last week after his Cincy game and got him in my C2C league in my waivers, and I'm super excited. I think this guy has the potential to, again, he's a true sophomore. Last year for Cal, he had 578 yards and 5 TDs as a freshman, which is pretty solid. And here he already has 10 receptions, 147 yards, and 1 TD in 2 games. So he's all well on his way for increased production, like what I see on his film. And again, if you're an NFL Draft Big Board subscriber, you're going to be getting this in your email in the next week or so. Going to be breaking the film down with Sean B. And I like Hunter, like what I see.
That's a great call. Honestly, I think that's definitely a name that we need to monitor and watch. And I'm actually going to go to another guy you had as a deep dive player not too long ago. So you are on a roll, Brandon. I'm going to go with Texas wide receiver Parker Livingstone. I mean, this kid is saving what Arch Manning needed as far as the game and confidence, because Livingstone is just getting open, available, showing great hands. You see the speed when he gets into the open field. He's got great boundary awareness, the length, good in contested situations. This kid's kind of got it all. He's becoming the primary weapon at Texas over guys like Ryan Wingo. So this is a name to monitor. He's a young player. He's got great size. At 6'4", he is just sub 200, but he's got weight that he can put on that frame. So I'm really excited about him. I think you nailed it with this call, and I'm excited to see how he develops the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm pretty psyched too, because I got him. I drafted him in all my supplemental drafts in the C2C leagues that we're in. So I had him actually in my starting lineup this week, which was didn't help me win that matchup, but nonetheless, you know, that's I love that call as well. So I think there's going to be weeks where he fades and Wingo, and you know, we're gonna.
Oh, they gotta. Yeah, target share is going to be weird, but you see the talent right at the gate, and it's great.
Yeah, so I want to talk about Aiden Childs. I am pretty excited. I just traded for him. I actually traded away Brian Robinson Jr. and swapped devy picks in my 2026 devy picks to get Childs on my roster. So I'm pretty psyched. I mean, against the Boston College game, we just talked about Lonergan. Is that how you say it, Dylan Lonergan?
Lonergan, yeah.
Lonergan, yeah. So that Boston College Michigan State game was a great game. If you didn't see that, it went back and forth all the way down to the wire. And both of these quarterbacks were balling, man. But this guy had on the 65% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. He's got some yardage on the ground as well. But I think he's a sneaky 2027 quarterback prospect. It's not coming out in the draft next year. No one's really talking about him as an NFL prospect in 2026, but 2027, he could be a headliner in one of the top 3 in that position. He's not getting a lot of buzz right now, but Aiden Childs is going to be considered one of my guys, man. I love what I see on film. Reminds me of like Jaden Daniels a little bit. Just he's like a gunslinger back there, just whipping the ball all over the place. But hey, devy quarterbacks are tough, right? But I'm on the Childs train.
The Child's Train.
Child's Train, baby.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I watched him too, and he looked great in this game. Both quarterbacks did, like we discussed. So I do like that call a lot. And I'm gonna go to your Penn State, and I'm looking at who could be the next tight end there. And Luke Reynolds had a really nice game this past weekend. I'm hoping it continues. I know it's against lesser competition. They're gonna get, I think their first real challenge is gonna be against Oregon. I can't wait to see what he can do in that game. But I like the usage. He already has as many receptions right now, 9, as he did total last year. You saw him get a lot more involved in this game, and he looked great in every opportunity that was given to him. So Luke Reynolds, to me, is that next man up. It looks like he's going to be Drew Aller's helper the rest of the season. And that tight end position, you nail that position down, you got a nice positional advantage in fantasy and dynasty football. So Luke Reynolds definitely is a stock up.
Can't fade Penn State quarterbacks. They get drafted. And he had a nice game this week, and I agree with you. I mean, and he's young, so he's got such room to develop. But yeah, I'd like that. Reynolds, I missed out on him on my C2C supplemental drafts. He was taken earlier than I thought he was going to be. And I've got no shares, which is very disappointing. So those are our 4 stock up players. They're devy players that we think are rising, maybe has some NFL aspirations in the future. We will see. So let's talk about some, 4 devy college players that maybe we are stocked down on right now. And I have to talk about Darius Taylor. I just cut up his all-22 film and did a film breakdown with Luigi actually just this afternoon. Last year when I watched his film and the year before, I had concerns about his game, and unfortunately watching his game the first week of the season, I forget who it was against, but it was Buffalo. It was against just Buffalo, and 30 carries for 170 yards or 121 yards or something. So the stats looked great, but watching the film, I just don't see it with him. I'm concerned about his decision making. The high pad level running through the trenches is concerning. He took so many unnecessary big hits, got thrown back like a rag doll on a lot of plays against Buffalo. And I just saw somebody who approached the line of scrimmage who just didn't feel like he had a plan or really knew where to go, trying to figure it out as he went. That's kind of what I came away with. So I got to stock down on him. He's just not somebody I'm interested in devy, and I wouldn't be concerned. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he comes back for his senior year. I just don't believe he is a true 2026 NFL draft prospect. If he is, he's going to be a day 3 guy, in my opinion, who is just going to be a depth piece on a roster.
We've been talking about him for quite a while now, and we just keep getting more evidence that there's definitely concern there. And I think day 3 is where he will live. I can't disagree with that. So that is a good call. This one is purely just because of, maybe it was also my personal hype, but I know there's a lot of hype going into the season, especially with what he did in the spring game. But Dallas Wilson just has not gotten any opportunity, not what I expected whatsoever. His counterpart, true freshman VB3, I call him, has been doing great job in that Florida offense under DJ Lagway. And I saw a little bit of that going into or against USF this past weekend. Eugene Wilson's getting a lot of runs. So I'm not sure what's going on with Dallas Wilson. But as of right now, he has no stats because he is getting no playing time, and the other true freshman is, and that is definitely a concern. Maybe it's fit, maybe it's opportunity. Who knows? Maybe it's just not picking up the offense yet. But for that, he is definitely a stock down. Expected a little bit more, especially with the way that receiver room was looking to start the season off.
Wasn't he injured?
I'm not too sure. I was looking. I couldn't see anything about whether he was all healed up, whether he was still injured. I couldn't find anything at all. So my hope is that there's something we just don't know, or I don't know.
Might be good,
and that's why this is happening. Yeah,
might be a good buy low. I mean, listen, man, he popped in that spring game so much.
Oh,
And
big time. Yeah.
spring games don't mean shit. I've gotten sucked into that spring game garbage too many times.
Right.
So
Me too.
maybe
Yeah.
I should learn from the past. Maybe you're on to something with that call. I want to talk about a player too who I really liked. I did a film on the YouTube channel on this kid last year, Emmett Mosley, who played at
Mm,
Stanford last year, transfers to Texas. Love the talent. Right, he reminds me
yeah.
of like an Eric
Me too.
Singleton Jr. type, that kind of player, very versatile player. My concern is just how many targets are going to be available. You talked about
Right.
Livingstone and his emergence, and you got Trey Wingo, and you got DeAndre Moore Jr., and you got all these other guys, Baxter out of the backfield, all these, just how many targets he's been injured. They're expecting him back. Now he might come back and blow up, but I'm just wondering. There's a lot of mouths to feed. You got the tight end who had a great game this past weekend. So just how many targets is he going to get in that crowded wide receiver room that is going to really showcase his ability? Might be a good buy low if he does come back from injury and he kind of has a couple ho hum games, because I still think he has talent, and I'm not
Yeah, I do
giving
too.
up on him like Darius Taylor. I still believe in Mosley in the talent, but right now he's got to be a stock down. He hasn't played for 2 weeks, and when he comes back, just how many targets is he going to get is the big question.
Right. He might just be that guy that just gets those big blow up games every now and then, and that's all we see. Hopefully not. I think he's well deserving at that skill set to be more consistent type of wide receiver than that. I'm gonna go in that's a big name, but Lenore Sellers just hasn't shown much yet. And going into week two, after week one, I wanted to see a little bit of maybe he just identified, there was slower processing to me in that week one game. So I'm wondering, okay, am I gonna see something a little bit different? And I just haven't. And it's almost like the game is just not picking up to where mentally needs to be. The obviously you can't coach the size, you can't coach the athleticism, but the arm talent, what he sees and how he operates with his arm, there's just not the same synergy there. So I'm just hoping that we see the improvement, because if Lenore Sellers is good, I mean the upside is tremendous, and he's going to make college football a lot more fun. But we got to see a lot more. Haven't seen it yet, and that is definitely concerning to this point.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a mock draft out like 2 days ago, because I'm putting together a mock draft for me and you to do a 2026 rookie mock, and I started doing landing
Beautiful.
spots for this, and I actually took him
Love it.
off the list. I believe
Wow.
he's going to be a 2027 prospect. I just don't think he's going to have that season. I think these
Hmm.
NFL teams want to see these kids play for at least 3 years in college. I think Anthony Richardson's a perfect example of how you got to be really careful trying to rush these kids to the NFL. So I'd like to call a lot, because just to him going to 2027 is a stock down. But there are a lot of people talking about his mental processing right now. And I get it. That's the whole position. I mean, all these guys got physical
Yeah.
talent. They all got the arms, the legs, the ability. But if you can't process upstairs and between the ears, it doesn't matter how strong and how far you can throw the ball. You got to be able to distribute and anticipate where the ball needs to be for your receivers. So don't mind that call one bit. So there you guys go. There's our Devy, our four Devy stock up players and stock down.